Brad's Atomic Grape is a tomato that seems to be pretty popular, so of course I wanted to try it. I had a tough time with germination last year, and the seedlings just kind of fizzled out, so it didn't make it into my garden. And my dad was able to get one plant going, but it didn't perform well at all, and we only got a few tomatoes off of it. But people kept raving about this tomato, so I wanted to try growing it one more time. Germinating the seeds was a little tricky again this year, and I did have to re-sow the seeds twice. But I did get a seedling, and it did start off a little spindly or wispy and looked very weak, which seems to be what many other people have said about growing this variety. However, it did end up growing and flourishing into a really nice tomato plant, and in fact, it may be my healthiest tomato plant, and it certainly is the largest tomato plant because I did have to add another tomato cage on top since it got so tall. This variety does seem moderately productive, and I am really loving the colors on them. You'll know they are ripe when they get a bit darker in color, but of course, you can always pick them earlier if they have blushed and let them ripen fully inside. But I like to keep them on the vine as long as I can. But just look at how gorgeous they are. Here is what the inside looks like, and as far as taste goes, I do like it quite a bit. It's a little bit sweet and a little bit savory, and it feels like there is a tint of smokiness to it, but overall the flavors feel very balanced. And on the Brix meter, it had a reading of 8.6, and anything over 8 is considered a sweet tomato, so it is safe to say that it is sweet. And in terms of the acid level for this tomato, I would say it is mildly acidic. It's noticeable, but I wouldn't say it's too much. I think it's pretty obvious that I do plan to keep Brad's Atomic Grape in my lineup, and because these didn't ripen as quickly as my other tomatoes, I would consider this variety a mid to late season tomato, which is actually a good thing because right now my other tomato plants have kind of seen better days, and yet Brad's Atomic Grape is just carrying on. So it's nice to have a tasty and productive variety when my other tomato plants have slowed down. And I also haven't seen any foliage with any issues like blight, and it seems to stand up to the heat pretty well, which are all other things that I really like about this variety. I definitely would recommend Brad's Atomic Grape, and even though the seeds can be tough to germinate and the seedlings are very weak and sad looking at first, I think they are worth trying to get them to grow. This would just be one variety that I would sow several seeds for, even if you only want one or two plants of it in your garden, because that way, if you have trouble with germination or if the seedlings are weak and some end up dying, you should hopefully have at least one that makes it, and if you do end up with extra plants that you don't need or want, you can always give them away. I will also definitely make sure to save some seeds for this variety so that I have enough to try growing them again next season, because I do think this is a great tomato that is worth all the hype.